Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something that, let's be honest, often gets treated like an afterthought, but it is absolutely critical for real success. We're talking about mastering project closure. We're going to take the complex guidance from the project management body of knowledge and turn it into a super clear, actionable framework you can start using right away. So let's kick things off with a question that really separates the good project managers from the great ones. When you say a project is done, is the value actually delivered? It seems like a simple question, but believe me, the answer is way more complex than you'd think, and we're going to unpack that today. So here's the game plan. We're going way beyond just checking a box. We're building a real framework straight out of the project management body of knowledge to make sure every single project delivers its absolute full potential. We'll start by talking about the strategic finish line, and then we'll get into a really powerful three-part framework: inputs, actions, and outcomes that's going to completely shift your thinking from just ending a project to delivering real, lasting value. All right, let's get right into it. For most people, project closure is, well, it's the boring part, right? It's just a bunch of final emails, archiving some files. But what if I told you that the best of the best, the top performers, see this as the final strategic play? It's about cementing the win, and maybe even more important, it's about mining for gold, capturing all that incredible knowledge for the next project. And this right here, this is the core of that mindset shift we're talking about. We're getting away from that just get it done mentality. Instead, we're focusing on a formal, deliberate process. We're closing the books properly, carefully archiving what we learned, and, super importantly, strategically reallocating our best asset, our people, to the next big challenge. Okay, so to build out this framework, we need a solid foundation. Let's go to the source, the official guide for project managers all over the world, the PMBOK Guide. So what does the official playbook, the Project Management Body of Knowledge, or PMBOK, have to say about this? Well, it defines close project or phase as the process of finalizing all activities. Now, I want you to notice that one key word, process. This isn't just a thing you do at the end. It's a structured, repeatable system built for a very specific purpose. And why do we even go through all this trouble? Well, the benefits are huge. Archiving project data isn't just for old time's sake, it's your legal and contractual safety net. Formally completing the work means no loose ends, no, hey, just one more thing emails a month from now. And this is huge. You release your team and your resources, but you send them off armed with the lessons you just learned, giving them a massive head start on whatever's next. So how do we actually do this? We're going to break it all down using a really simple but incredibly powerful framework. It's the kind of thing a top management consultant would use. It's built right on top of the PMBOK's logic, and it gives us a clear roadmap to actually realizing all that value. We're going to look at this through three distinct levers. First, we gather our inputs. That's all the documents and data we need. Second, we execute key actions. This is where we do the analysis and formalize everything. And third, we deliver the outcomes. Those are the tangible, value-added results. So let's jump in and get our hands dirty with that first lever, the inputs. Okay, level 1. This is all about getting prepared. I mean, you can't bake a cake without the right ingredients, right? It's the same thing here. You can't close a project the right way if you don't have all the raw materials in front of you. This step is about gathering everything you need before you even start the analysis. Now, if you've ever actually looked at the PMBOK guide, that list of inputs can look, well, a little overwhelming. But here's where we can be smart about it. We can group all those dozens of documents into 4 simple, logical buckets. So first you have your foundation documents, the original charter and plan. That's your promise. Then you have your performance data, all the logs and reports that tell the story of the project's journey. Next up, verification. This is the hard proof that you delivered on that promise. And finally, context, the why behind the whole thing. See? By structuring it this way, a long, scary checklist becomes a manageable strategic review. And the PMBOK guide says it perfectly right here. The project manager reviews the plan to ensure all project work is completed and that the project has met its objectives. This just drives home the point that gathering all these inputs isn't just about collecting paper. It's a systematic audit. It's asking the question, did we do what we said we were going to do? All right, so we've got our inputs gathered, we've got them organized. It is time to pull lever 2, actions. This is where we roll up our sleeves and really get to work on the analysis and formalization. So the PMBOK points to 3 main activities here. First, there's expert judgment. This just means bringing in the specialists from legal or finance to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Second,
Data analysis. This is where you really dig in. You're not just filing reports away. You're doing things like variance analysis, which is just a fancy way of comparing what you planned to do with what actually happened, and figuring out why there's a difference. Did a task take way longer than we thought? Why? The answers are pure gold. And third, you hold meetings. These are so important for getting that official sign-off on deliverables, and hey, just as important for celebrating the team's incredible work. And all of that hard work brings us to lever 3, the outcomes. This is the payoff. This is the whole reason we go through this structured process. These are the tangible, value-creating results that really truly make a difference for the entire organization. So the first critical outcome is the final transition. Think of this like a clean handoff in a relay race. You're passing the baton from the project team to the operations team, the people who will actually own and run the product or service you just built. A smooth transition here is everything for the long-term success of your work. Next up, you create the final report. This is it. This is the definitive official summary of how the project performed. You can think of it as the project's biography, told with data. And this isn't just some quick memo. Look at what goes into this. It covers everything from scope and quality goals to a detailed breakdown of costs versus the original plan. But check out those last 2 rows. It ties the project's result directly back to the business needs. That's what your executives really care about. And it shows how major risks were handled. That's invaluable for the next PM. It creates this complete 360-degree picture for everyone involved. But maybe the most powerful outcome, the one that gives you compounding returns over time, is organizational learning. This is how you make sure that your project makes the entire organization smarter. And this happens when you formally update what the PM BOAT calls organizational process assets, which, is a very corporate way of saying the company's collective brain. So yeah, you're archiving documents and transferring manuals, but look at that last bullet point, finalizing the lessons learned register. Just imagine the next team starting a similar project. They pull up your register and see a note that says, Vendor X was consistently 2 weeks late, which really messed up our timeline. We recommend building in a buffer. Boom. You just saved them weeks of headaches. That is how you turn one project's experience into a permanent asset for the company. So let's pull all of this together now. When you apply this structured 3-lever approach, you can fundamentally change how you and your organization think about the end of a project. This slide really says it all, doesn't it? We are moving from the column on the left, a simple administrative task, to the column on the right, a powerful strategic process. You're not just taking a box anymore. You are actively realizing value. You're not just ending work. You are capturing and preserving priceless knowledge. And you're not just disbanding a team. You're fueling the success of whatever comes next. Let's end on this key idea, straight from the PMBOK guide. The benefits are that information is archived, the planned work is completed, and resources are released to pursue new endeavors. What that really means when you boil it all down is that a proper close isn't an ending at all. It's a strategic transition that unlocks the future potential for your entire organization. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Think about your own projects. What untapped value, what hidden knowledge, what future advantage is just sitting there, hiding in your last project's closing process? By applying this framework, you can go beyond just finishing your next project, and instead, you can truly complete it, squeezing out every last drop of value for you, your team, and your organization.